and thank you organizers for inviting me here today. Before I begin, I could see that there are a lot of industry experts and people talking about what are the solutions to circularity. What we do is building knowledge on circular economy. When we started in 2020, India was largely talking about recycling as circular economy. But I'll take you through our journey of last 3 years and how we have evolved as a major think tank and a knowledge body in India on circular economy. Can you please play my presentation? Well, while he opens up the presentation, since we are lacking in time, I think I'll be very, very precise and tell you what we do. In 2020, we started as India's first national come international body that would talk about circular economy. We started working with Niti Aayog on helping them formulate the committees that would talk about circular economy and policies around circular economy. And thus came the 11 subcommittees that were formed in 2021, and Council was very much working with Niti Aayog on these policies. We are a non-profit organization with 3 pillars. If we move to the next slide, please. Okay, so the idea was to make India a regenerative economy using the resources that we talk about also on the vision of our Honorable PM when he started talking about wealth out of waste. Circular economy mission was also announced by him in 2021, and that was our vision, how India could work towards a greener and a cleaner economy. Next slide, please. That is our board, a very rich board with the Padma Shris and a lot of experts in the specific areas, and the team led by young people who are very passionate about the country. Next slide, please. The 3 pillars that we stand on is educate, innovate, and inspire. And each of these pillar is one of the very important inspiration to us and has led our journey for last 3 years. When we started, it was, as we all know, 2020 was the pandemic. Not much of the things were moving. But at the same time, we thought that this is a very good time to leverage the online schedule and the virtual meetings. And we started a lot of knowledge creation and discussions online virtually, which led to something very historic in the country. While we were working on the knowledge dissemination, we were reached out by the Ministry of Education and AICTE, All India Council for Technical Education, to develop a MOOC on their Swayam portal. I'm sure most of you would know what is Swayam portal. We developed a MOOC on Swayam portal, and later they also asked us to develop a course on circular economy, which is now an open elective for all technical institutions in India. And that is, I think, an historic kind of a thing that we did, because India was lacking in formal education on circular economy. If we talk about circular economy, a lot of experts today have been talking about what is circularity, and this is one gap that we kind of saw in the thought process, because even today a lot of policymakers would talk about recycling as circular economy. And as Isha rightly pointed out in the beginning of the discussions, that recycling differ from circular economy, and that is where we started working on inspiration. That was our second challenge, training industry, training the capacity building programs of the policymakers, particularly on how the difference between recycling and circular economy. And that's what we did. And we worked with multiple sectors. As you know, circular economy is a sector agnostic subject. We did work with the plastic industry, we worked with the textile industry, we are working with the electronic sector on how each sector could lead to circularity. And I'm very happy that several ministries who were not talking about circular economy today are talking about it. Ministry of Mines is showing extreme interest in how they could lead to circularity in India. And last but not least, as we talk about the startup culture in India, and there are so many unicorns coming up, how could these unicorns take up or the startups could lead to circular business models is what we do through our third pillar, which is innovate. And we help them build circular business models through different incubation programs that we run. The next slide, please. These are few of our partnerships in India and globally. We are very well connected to both Indian market as well as the international collaborations. And recently, I'm very happy to share that we were at Helsinki at the World Circular Economy Forum, where we were leading the roundtable of 44 key global leaders. And we have been chosen as the leader for Global South. There was a South-South cooperation document that was signed between 7 countries. And we are from India are leading that Global South cooperation. So that's, I think, a feather in our cap, and we are happy about that. Next slide, please. These are few statistics, the case studies, the research journal. So a few things that we did in India. I wrote the first book, which is now being used as a curriculum book, a reference book by the colleges. We started India's first journal. There are 2 issues that are already out. We're working on the 3rd volume. We publish case studies both internationally and nationally very actively. Our newsletter is one of the most read newsletter globally on circular economy, and articles that we write and research papers are other thing that we keep on publishing from time to time. Next slide, please. So while we work on innovation, it's important to know to undergo stakeholder consultations, the community development thing, capacity building. All these are different programs that we run from time to time, leading to collaborations, both industry and academia collaborations, industry and policymaker collaboration. And these have led to several dialogues that have helped India and several policies that are inclined towards circular economy. Next slide, please. So as I was talking about the courses, we launched self-paced courses. There are 4 self-paced courses that are on our website, and I have been taken by more than 10,000 students so far. We have credit courses. We run FDPs. We run with schools a zero campus program where we help colleges, universities, even hotels to convert themselves as zero waste. We run FDPs, MDPs, LDPs with different educational institutions and industry as well. Right now we're working with Aditya Birla and GIZ on a textile project where we are working on circularity in textile sector in India. Next slide, please. Few more statistics. We can move to the next one. We incubate startups. We were a partner with AICT's Smart India Hackathon, which had almost 2,500 colleges participating, and there were 6 problem statements that were given by our council, and out of these 6 problem statements, 4 were awarded. That's our brief about the innovation journey, where we kind of keep on inspiring the startups to work towards circularity. Next slide, please. So this is what we work with the government on the policy making. We work with Niti Aayog, we work with MOEFCC, recently we published a paper, a working document with the Economic Advisory Council to the PM, which talked about how could India lead to circularity by 2030 and what are the measures that could be taken. So these are few more things that we work at the highest level. Next slide, please. We also established something called the India Circular Economy Stakeholder Platform, which brings in academia, researchers, industry, policymakers on one platform, and that has enabled us to kind of listen to everybody to come to conclusion and policies that are relevant to the Indian scenario. Next slide. So what we do is something called India Circular Economy Forum. This is our annual knowledge forum, which is hosted every year. Niti Aayog is a partner in that. Ministry of Electronics is a partner, and we do sign international agreements, and we have more than 200 business houses that are associated with us during this conference. Next slide. This is about the ABFRL project that I was talking about. We're working on developing a course for the students who are aspiring to be the fashion experts, training of trainers, where we are training the trainers who would like to kind of talk to the value chain about circularity, a leadership development program for ABFRL, Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail Limited, along with other big fashion houses in India, developing a MOOC so that it is available for everybody who wants to know about circular fashion, and more stakeholder consultations here to go with. Next slide, please. That's actually the same, I already spoke about it. Next. So that's all about us, and if you want to take the courses, if you want to read our book, or everything is available on our website, and I'll be happy to kind of help you go through that. Thank you very much.